Frein de parking serré.
I forgot the handbrake. What a brilliant start to a tribute video on my Renault 25 V6 Turbo. I promise it wasn't on purpose. I wasn't even expecting to even start the video yet. I was just setting up the cameras and all that. But the car just told me in French that the parking brake was left on. And that leads me to what I actually would like to talk about this car. This car is so ahead of its time back in '87, but I think it still is ahead of its time. It got a lot of features that I think a lot of us car people at least would like to see again in new cars. I already made a video driving this car back when I got it, back in September, I think it was last year. But I think it's time to do another one because it's going to leave my garage soon, but because I need some money for all the other projects. It is hurting me a little bit more than usually because this car is so brilliant and also in such a good condition. It's quite amazing. I went to the MOT and the inspection today in this car. I fitted blinker lights. For those of you who are interested, I did have a list of stuff that I needed to fix before the MOT. I needed indicators on the sign. I needed to fix the ABS issue. I've done both of them. The ABS system has been working for a couple of weeks now, but I haven't really done much other than just rechecking all the connections. So there is something iffy about that, but it's gone now. And I'm not gonna start chasing a ABS issue on a car from the 80s if it's not even present. So yeah, and I went to the MOT and it went through without any advisories or anything. It was just perfect, which is a really rare thing in my world. No rust, no nothing. Oh, that's quite amazing. This car is in brilliant condition. So the specification, it's a Renault 25, it's a V6 turbo, it's a 2.4 liters V6 engine with a turbo, developing 182 horsepower in the phase 1 edition, and I think 240 Newton meter. It's not a huge number, but the delivery of that power is just so exciting because of turbo lag. It's just that it's turbo lag that makes this so much fun. It's just when the power gets there, it's pretty intense, which is really a lot of fun, of course. And that leads me to the first example of this car being ahead of its time in the 80s and ahead of its time now, because in the 80s a turbo engine wasn't that common. Now though, I think it's ahead of its time in another way. And this is probably a bit controversial, but I think a lot of car enthusiasts would like to see the return of the turbo lag, which sounds a little bit weird, putting it into gear, giving it some power, waiting on that kick, and there we go. It's just, whoa, that's the exciting part. And I think excitement comes from something that is not completely expected. So when you iron out all the unexpected things in a car, it will become boring. I think it's ahead of its time even now because it brings some excitement without going completely bonkers with the horsepower figures. And I think, or at least I hope, that there will be some kind of return to the uncontrolled part of cars, because that's what's fun. And the dash was very much ahead of its time back then. I think it will be difficult to really show you guys because of the lighting, but yeah, you can see it. There is a computer right there that shows me how much fuel is left in the tank. That's the only way to see how much fuel there is, by the way. And with this button over there, I can switch between what it shows. This is I guess it's the average speed. Doesn't really make sense though, but maybe. And this is the average fuel consumption, 9 liters for every 100 kilometers, which I think is very decent on such a big engine back then. And then we have the latest trip, This wasn't something you would see in all cars back then, so it was ahead of its time in that regard. Also bringing in screens, which is now pretty much the only thing you will find in a car. But on this one we have a screen over there also for the radio and temperature settings and so on. The heater controls and so on is not a screen per se, but it looks like it, with a slider that you can slide up and down. Everything is very tactile, which is really nice. And also take a look at this complicated stereo, that's really nice. And another thing ahead of its time back then, electrical seats, adjustment seat up and down, forwards and backwards. And the rear rest goes up and down also, very, very nice. It's the same on the passenger side except up and down. Over here we have control of the side mirrors and the windscreens. Up here we have the onboard computer. We can ask.
Les fonctions sous contrôle ne présentent pas de défaut.
The Frenchman living in the dash, if the car's all right, it's currently all right. It will tell you if it's running out of fuel, if you forgot to close the door, if it's low on coolant, if it's overheating, and so on. It will tell you. Very, very nice. I don't even think any new cars really does that. So in that regard, it's a bit ahead of its time still. Probably you could make a Tesla do that. I have never driven an electric car, by the way. Not because I don't want to, but I just haven't had the necessity to do that. So, and also I think it will damage my feel of torque and so on. Anyway, this is ahead of its time now because it got buttons, and I think they will return. I hope they will return. We all like this. I can change settings without looking at the dash at nighttime because I can just feel my way. That will not be possible on a screen, and also a screen will light pollute the interior. This is really nice. I think a return to something like this would be a very good upgrade on a car, to be honest. Oh, also this, the control for the radio, volume up and down and change channel and so on. Very ahead of its time in '87. I think what I'm gonna do now is to just let you enjoy a bit of driving this from my perspective, the driver's perspective. I don't know if it picks up, but this car is a very nice cruiser. It's fast and it's very confident, inspiring. The suspension setup. Renault really knew what they were doing back then. It's not the Peugeot flimsiness or the Citroën floatiness. It's very different. I'm not ruling out the other two marks because I like that also, but this is just very confident, inspiring. The roads I'm driving on at the moment are very small, so it's difficult really to use the power, but let's just for fun do a quick 0 to 80, which is the speed limit, kilometers per hour. Right. And that's 80. I am amazed about the reliability I have had with this car, considering the story about the PRV engine. This is really nice. I think I'm lucky with this one, or maybe this was just the perfect batch. Maybe this was the right engine to get. This car was bought from new. in Monaco. I got stamps in the service book from a Maserati Lamborghini workshop. And maybe that has something to do with it, I don't know. But it's just a really, really proper, nicely built car, which feels pretty weird to say about a French car, because they were not known to be that well built. And these were known for having a lot of electrical issues, because there is a lot of electrical stuff in them. But I have had no issues with the electrical stuff except the idle control valve. That was a problem already when I got it. It got a problem if the idle control valve gets stuck. It will overheat the part in the ECU that controls that, and it will burn out. It's interesting because every time I make anything about this car on my Instagram account, it gets a lot of views. I got millions of views on some of the small videos I made about the talking dash and the buttons and all that. It's very, very popular on there, and I can understand why, because it's just exciting. It's from the 80s. There's a turbo. It's talking. It's ticking so many boxes of being a quirky, nice, fun car. But this will be all for now. Maybe it will be all for the Renault, who knows. I do expect to make a video about painting the bonnet, but you'll never know. Once a car is up for sale, it can be a bit difficult to know how long it will stay there. I had to use the horn. There was a car in front of me coming straight at me who was looking at the sea, not the road, so he was drifting towards me. The horn on this car is awesome. This is the first time I had to use it actually, and I have been looking forward to doing that because it got some oomph. It's a compressor horn from factory. Really nice. I love that. Anyway, this will be all for now. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.